Hello everyone, it's March 4, 2021, and you're watching me, Nikki, also known as Basis Trader, for the Philippine Market Update for the Awesome10X Philippine Market Update. Let's begin. Okay, it's a Thursday. It's a Thursday, right? March 4 is a Thursday. Yep. So tomorrow is another nightmare on Wall Street yet again. Last week ago, we actually said that there's a nightmare on Wall Street specifically because of the rising Treasury yields. And it escalated yet again after this week because your Treasury yields again spiked up. What are Treasury yields? All right, so let's take a look at some Treasury yields. What is the 10-year Treasury yield? Okay, let's read the Wikipedia definition. So the 10-year Treasury yield right now is 1.4%. The yield on the 30-year Treasury bond was led to 2.22%. Yields would move inversely to prices. A rising yield means that the Treasury rates, it means that the financing rate of the entire market is increasing, meaning liquidity as a whole is gonna drop because of this. Treasuries on the move, 10-year yields test 1.5% again as the bond sell-off resumes. So basically, how does the yield work with bonds? When the yields go up, the bonds would go down. A lot of people have made some money on the bonds. And so the more that the yield spikes, their bonds are actually going down. Let's take a look at these example. What are Treasury securities? It's actually your TLTs. Let's take a look at this. 10-year, 20-year Treasury ETF. So it's also in the BMV, it's also in the NASDAQ. Let's go for the NASDAQ itself, the NASDAQ TLTs. So these are 20-year Treasury bonds. It's usually the TBTs, the TLTs, that's what it means. Okay? So when the yields are spiking, your bonds are going down, okay? So your bonds are going down, and it's rattling that there are some people who actually felt comforted actually with holding bonds. But we have often emphasized, why be in Treasury bonds when you can be in the best stocks of the world? So let's also take a look at some things, TBTs. These are your baliktad. These are the ones that are shorting your bonds. Take note that the ones who are shorting the bonds are up from about, let's say just January, from about 17 to 20. They're betting that the bond prices would fall. So, all right, why is this Treasury yield such a significant thing? It is really the RFR if you are doing your CAPM ratings. It's the risk-free rates. So the risk-free rate is the theoretical return on an investment with zero risk. The thing about people is that they thought the US Treasury bonds is a risk-free asset. Of course, Awesome10X investors know it's not. It is not really risk-free. In fact, it is one of just an indicator to define how your equity should trade at. The higher the risk-free rates are, the lower your equities go. And so just last week and then this week, you continually see the market hitting lower highs. So the rate of formula, for those who don't understand the cost of equity, it's the government bond rate versus the inflation rate minus 1. That is the nominal risk-free rate. And then you also have the real risk-free rate. So understandably, not everyone understands the cost of equity, but the cost of equity can be understood by a simple CAPM-based model. So what is the CAPM model? It is called your capital asset pricing model. It is something that all college graduates know about, but let's say you didn't attend school or you don't know anything about the financial understanding of models. It is a function. If you'll notice, the expected return of an investment is basically the risk-free rate plus a beta relative to the market portfolio times the market risk premium. What it means is that if your risk-free rate goes up, then everything here should go up. The expected return should go up. And this is the denominator. When you're doing a return on equities, these risk-free rates are actually computed on your CAPM. They're actually computed on your, as a denominator for all the Excel models or any Excel database or sheets that you're seeing as a valuation model. So if your treasury yields go spike up, it's really gonna cause an entire drop on your equity valuation because your denominator, if it was divided by 5 before, is gonna be divided by 8 or divided by 9 or divided by 10. And that causes that drop. Okay, so let's take a look right now, of course, with the Philippine markets. Did the Philippine markets drop? To be honest, the Philippine markets is just barely down. It's now down 60.6882, negative 0.87%. Let's take a look at the index of the Philippine market. Your market value is about 6.78 billion. You are seeing lack of value turnover, 110 advancers, 119 decliners, and foreign net selling continues to be 627 million. What you're seeing in the Philippine market is the lack of interest in the Philippine market. The value traded is very low. Now let's read about the index movers. Although your Jollibee successfully climbed up to 190, the problem is that, as you hear, the value turnover in the Philippines is very small. Your Bloomberry is $8. Your Robinsons Retail is 54.55. Your MPI is 4.13. Your Emperador is 10.26. Your Lucia Time Group is 13.86. Your Security Bank is 129.5. Your DMC is 5.45. Robinsons Land is 19.72. Your Frisian is $30. Your GT Cap is 5.60. Globe is 2,000. PLDT is 12.90. Pure Gold is 37.8. Avoid Aspire is 24.4. BDO is 109. Mega World is 367. EGI is 1078. SM Prime 37. JG Summit 67. URC 131. San Miguel Corp 126. Metro Bank 48. Avoid Executive Ventures 42.6. Meralco is 277. BPI is 88. ICT is 118.8. Ayala Corp is 765. SM is 1040. And Ayala Land suffers to 38.5. So what you're seeing in the market is that the properties have really believed to be, which we believe is a resistance, your Ayala Land and your SM Prime at about 40, indeed that has actualized in the market. And your SMs, your ACs, we said that about 1.1, it is a resistance. Ayala Corp, 800 above is a resistance. What you're seeing is that the market agrees with Awesome10X, with the Philippine index at about 7.2, 7.3, it is a resistance. In fact, right now, while BDO is still at about 109, 110, that is still also a resistance that you have to be aware of. Your financials, like the Metro Banks, which were trading at 51, right now it's about 48. After the X date has done, I don't know if Metro Bank will really trade back at 50 pesos without any new catalysts. So the chances for these stocks to fall is still larger. It's a 50-50 game for most people. But as you could see, some people seeing that the market can just go up 3-4% or 5%, but it can have a downside also about 5%. It doesn't even have to be bigger downside, but just the fact that, oh, it's very low upside. Some people are actually not willing to hold or buy their shares. Example, if you don't have a position, would you actually want to buy your BDO at 109 or would you want to buy some Metro Bank at 48? Some people might want to wait it out. They'll try to wait. Maybe Metro Bank can be gotten at 42 or 45 or 44 because they know that they probably won't be able to get at 35 like last year's double, triple, quadruple bottoms, 34, 35 last year. But they probably want to wait it out like maybe a cheaper bargain nonetheless rather than just paying any price. So that's what you're seeing in the Philippine market. Let's take a look at the non-index movers. Okay, top traded names. So you're still seeing that the market right now is still playing a lot of non-index names. Your Now Corp, after hitting 283, goes up 20%. Now Corp is now 3.4, but still it is already lower highs from the past highs before. Your Dito Telecom continues to go down. It's now 15.52. Your FA is trying to stay at $3, but I don't know if the market can actually play all-time highs with FA if the markets abroad are reeling into a potential larger correction. Your BDO at 109 seems to be at a resistance point. Your Greenergy 4.6 to 4.26, you are seeing that while there was a news catalyst for green energy to go up, it seems like some people are willing to take profits on these moves because maybe they're happy already with a 200% gain or a 500% gain, depending on where they entered their green energy shares. Jollibee is up 190, but of course, in the short term, you could probably see a resistance about 200 and 210. Now, your APLs is 255, still in a range. Your BPI at 88 seems to be nearing resistance. Your ASEAN at 711 is, in my view, being distributed from 7 and 8. Can it go down to 6? If the market corrects, it is possible. Now, your MEH is 334, also some non-index names. ICT 118, PLDT 1290, your LRW is up to 208, but it's really volatile for these names. On an entire market scenario, you could see that the market in the Philippines is more on the downside and more on the red. You're seeing that people are selling their extended winners, whether it be Dito Telecom, whether they made some money on FA, whether they made some money on ASEN, FNI, Nickel. So you're still seeing that the market is not really buying up the Philippine market. Top gainers. Okay, the only top gainer we are seeing is the fact that Now Corp is up 20%. Your Prim is about 10% up. What else is the up today? LSC is up 7%. We don't really cover these names. LRW. So you're seeing that the market in general does not have volume. So the problem in the Philippines has lack of interest. Okay, let's take a look today at some of your questions, if any. Okay, no questions. That's good. So thank you for watching and liking and subscribing to Awesome10X. See you again tomorrow, and I'll see you tomorrow. Free Friday class tomorrow. Bye-bye.